What if you lost everything in an instant? How far would you go to bring back the ones you love? This is the story of Kisagatami, a mother's grief, a desperate search, and a lesson from Buddha that will change your perspective on life forever. Kisagatami was a young woman full of love and joy. She had just given birth to her first child who was light of her life. But one day, tragedy struck. Her child fell gravely ill. Even though everything she could, but nothing worked. Then, sadly, her baby took his last breath in her arms. Refusing to accept the truth, she held onto his lifeless body. Tears streaming down her face, she ran from house to house, begging, pleading. Please, someone help me. My child is sick. Give me medicine that can bring him back. But there was silence. People looked at her with sorrowful eyes. There was no cure for death. Until, someone whispered to her, go to Gautama Buddha. He may have the cure you seek. A spark of hope ignited in Kisagatami's heart. She rushed to the Buddha and fell at his feet. Please, my lord, give me medicine to bring back my child, she cried. Buddha looked at her, not with pity, but with deep kindness. And then, he spoke. I will give you the medicine. But first, you must bring me a handful of mustard seeds, from a house where no one has ever lost a loved one. Kisagatami's eyes lit up. It seemed so simple. Mustard seeds were common, every home had them. She set off on her journey, knocking on every door in the village. At the first house, a kind woman nodded and handed her mustard seeds. But when Kisa asked, has anyone in this house ever lost a loved one? The woman's face fell. Yes, my father passed away last year. Kisagatami sighed and moved on. At the next house, a man was willing to help. But when she asked, he shook his head. I lost my wife. I know the pain you feel. House after house, door after door, the answer was always the same. Everyone had lost someone. A mother. A father. A child. A friend. As the sun set and the village grew quiet, Kisagatami finally understood, she was not alone in her grief. She had been so blinded by her pain that she had not seen the truth, death is a part of life. And suffering is universal. With a heavy heart, she walked back to Buddha, empty-handed, but enlightened. She placed her child's body down and bowed before the Buddha. He looked at her gently and said, Impermanence is the nature of life. Everything you love, everything you hold onto, will one day pass away. Attachments bring suffering, but wisdom brings peace. At that moment, Kisagatami let go not just of her child's body, but of her suffering. She understood that true peace comes not from clinging to what is lost, but from accepting the nature of life itself. From that day forward, she became a devoted disciple of Buddha, seeking not the cure for death, but the path to inner peace. This story teaches us one of life's greatest truths. What do you think of Buddha's wisdom? Would you be able to accept this truth? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Deep in the heart of a dense forest, there was a terror had a name, Angulimala. A ruthless bandit. A heartless killer. He wore a gruesome necklace. Not of gold, not of jewels. But of human fingers. He had only one goal, to collect 1,000 fingers as proof of his strength. But do you know that Angulimala wasn't always a monster? Once, his name was Ahimsaka, a bright and devoted student born with intelligence. His teacher, jealous of his intelligence, poisoned his mind with a terrible lie. His teacher influenced and made him to believe, to achieve true wisdom, you must collect 1,000 fingers from human sacrifices. By believing his master's words, Ahimsaka became Angulimala, the feared hunter of men. He had slain hundreds, and only a few more remained for his gruesome tally to be complete. Then, one day, a lone figure entered the forest. Clad in simple robes, walking barefoot, unafraid. It was Gautama Buddha. Angulimala charges at Buddha. Running. Panting. But no matter how fast he runs, he cannot reach him. Angulimala shouted, Stop, ascetic. Stop, Buddha calmly turning into him and said, I have already stopped, Angulimala. It is you who must stop. Angulimala freezes in confusion. What do you mean, Buddha? I have stopped harming all beings. But you. You are still running toward destruction. If you seek peace, then stop. Angulimala's hands tremble. He looks at his bloody sword, at the fingers around his neck, and he falls to his knees. At that moment, the storm inside Angulimala finally settled. He threw away his greed and bowed before Buddha and please, show me the path. Under the guidance of Buddha, Angulimala abandoned his past and became a monk. But his journey was not over, but when he enters the village, villagers lashed at him, "Murderer. You think wearing robes can erase your sins?" Though he had changed, the world had not forgiven him. He faced hatred, suffering, and rejection. One day, while he was passing by, a woman screams in labor, unable to give birth. Angulimala sees her suffering. Angulimala prays, "May this woman give birth safely. If I have truly abandoned all evil." Soon baby's cry echoes. The woman and her family weep in joy. The baby was born and safe. In that moment, Angulimala proved that true transformation is possible. He was no longer a killer, he was a healer. Angulimala's story teaches us a powerful truth. No matter how dark our past, with wisdom and compassion, we can always change. Even the fiercest storm can become calm. And even the cruelest heart can find peace. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law.
Once upon a time, there was a mighty ruler, King Harsha. He had everything: gold, power, a grand palace, and luxuries beyond imagination. Yet, he was unhappy. No matter how much he owned, his heart felt empty. He longed for something more, true happiness. King Harsha asked, "Tell me, where can I find true happiness?" "O king, if you truly seek happiness, you must wear the shirt of the happiest man in your kingdom." The king looks surprised, then determined. He signals his messengers to begin the search. And so, the king sent his men far and wide to find this magical shirt. Messengers riding on horseback through cities, villages, and forests. They found an gold merchant and asked him, "Are you the happiest man in the kingdom?" "I have wealth, but I live in fear of losing it. I am not happy." King's men disappointed and continued the search. Now they have found an warrior. Asked him, "You are a great warrior. Are you truly happy?" "I have won many battles, but I have lost many friends. I am not happy." King's men disappointed and continued the search. Now they have found a great scholar and asked him, "Are you the happiest man in the kingdom?" "I have knowledge, but my heart seeks more. I am not happy." The search continued, but no one could truly claim they were happy. Finally, they came across a humble farmer, working in his field, singing with joy. "Our king seeks happiness. Give us your shirt so that he may wear it and be happy." "But I don't even own a shirt." The messengers were stunned. Could it be that true happiness had nothing to do with wealth or power? When the messengers returned and told the king about the farmer, he finally understood. Happiness doesn't come from riches, power, or possessions. It comes from within. From that day forward, King Harsha lived a simpler life, helping others and finding joy in the present moment. Happiness is not found in wealth or power. It is found in contentment, gratitude, and the simple joys of life.
On a quiet afternoon, Arav found something unexpected. A tiny bird, wounded and helpless. He couldn't just walk away. He gave it warmth, food, and safety. In that little cage, the bird would never have to worry again, or so he thought. The bird had healed, but something was missing. It fluttered, restless. Its heart still belonged to the sky. The bird's strength returns, but its eyes always wander to the sky beyond the bars it was caged. Maya visits, noticing the bird's unease. She turns to Arav, curiously asked Arav, "Why don't you let it fly?" Arav, hesitant, and says, "I saved it. What if I lose it?" Arav's voice was quiet, filled with hesitation. He had given the bird everything, except freedom. Slowly, Maya reaches for the cage door. Then, she opens it. And in that moment, the choice was no longer his. The bird hesitated, then, with a beat of its wings, it was gone. But the next morning, it came back. Maya said that's love, Arav. Attachment cages in fear. Love lets go and trusts in the return. And for the first time, Arav understood. Love isn't about holding on, it's about setting free, and knowing they'll come back if they choose. Love isn't about possession. It's about trust. And sometimes, the ones we set free find their way back home. Thanks for watching.
In Buddhism, Nirvana is the ultimate goal, a state of complete liberation from suffering and the endless cycle of birth and rebirth, known as samsara. But how can one achieve Nirvana?
The Buddha taught a clear path to enlightenment trug.
The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. First, we must understand the Four Noble Truths, the foundation of Buddhist teachings. Dukkha, suffering exists. Life is filled with suffering.
We experience physical pain, emotional distress, and the impermanence of all things.
Second, Samadaya, the cause of suffering, desire, attachment, and ignorance lead to suffering. The more we crave, the more we suffer.
Third, Nirodha, the end of suffering. It is possible to overcome suffering by letting go of cravings and ignorance. Fourth, Marga, the path to end suffering. The way to Nirvana is by following the Eightfold Path. Are you ready to begin your journey toward enlightenment? Start with mindfulness, compassion, and meditation. Do you know the science of happiness? The secret to lasting joy has been all along with us, hidden in the form of ancient Buddhist wisdom. In a world filled with deadlines, distractions, and digital overload, the pursuit of happiness seems more elusive than ever. But what if the secret to lasting joy has been with us, all along hidden in ancient wisdom? Neuroscientists found that compassion meditation increases activity in the brain's empathy and reward centers, leading to greater happiness and reduced loneliness. For centuries, Buddhist teachings have offered profound insights on inner peace, catching up, proving that mindfulness, compassion, and acceptance aren't just spiritual concepts, they are scientifically backed pathways to happiness. Compassion is a central tenet of Buddhism, but did you know it's also a biological superpower? Compassion isn't just about others, it transforms you. Studies show that helping others releases oxytocin, the love hormone, which reduces stress and enhances emotional well-being. Practice loving-kindness meditation. Perform one small act of kindness daily, a smile, a kind word, or lending a helping hand. Shift your mindset. Instead of judging, try to understand. A study found that people who practice acceptance have lower anxiety levels and higher emotional resilience. Nothing in life is permanent, yet we often resist change, causing unnecessary suffering. Buddhist philosophy teaches impermanence. Imagine treating setbacks as lessons rather than failures. The more we accept life's flow, the less we suffer. When facing difficulty, ask, can I control this? If not, let go. Practice gratitude for what is, rather than mourning what was. So ancient wisdom, modern science agreeing on the same principles, mindfulness, compassion, and acceptance. These aren't just Buddhist philosophies. Science now confirms what monks have known for centuries. They are the keys to true happiness. So, what can you do today? Start small. Breathe mindfully. Show kindness, accept change. Because happiness isn't something to chase, it's something to cultivate within. If this video helped you, hit like, share it with someone who needs it.